1. e4, Robert James Fischer opens with the king's pawn, seeking a direct and aggressive confrontation, a hallmark of his uncompromising style and desire for the initiative. 1. c5, the Argentinian grandmaster Julio Balbacan responds with the sharp Sicilian defense, bravely choosing to enter a complex and theoretical battle against the world's leading expert. 2. Nf3, Fischer continues with the open Sicilian, the most ambitious and challenging approach, aiming to seize an immediate advantage in the center of the board. 2. d6, a solid and principled move. Balbacan reinforces his central foothold and prepares the ground for the Najdorf variation, one of the most respected and complex systems in chess. 3. d4, the thematic central strike. Fischer blasts open the position, creating the sharp, unbalanced struggle that defines the Sicilian defense and where he feels most at home. 3. cxd4, the obligatory exchange. Balbacan cedes control of the center temporarily in exchange for a long-term structural advantage with his central pawn majority and open c-file. For nxd4, the white knight occupies its ideal central post on d4. From this commanding square, it will exert a powerful influence and serve as the pivot for white's strategic operations. 4. nf6, Fischer develops his knight with a tempo, attacking the undefended e4 pawn. This forces white's hand and allows black to gain valuable time for his own development. 5. nc3, the logical and most common developing move. Fischer brings another knight into the game, reinforces his control of the center, and prepares for the main theoretical battle. 5. 6. The signature move of the Najdorf variation. This subtle pawn move prevents white's knights from jumping to b5 and prepares a dangerous queenside expansion with b5. 6. h3, the Adams attack. Fischer chooses a very aggressive and dangerous system, preparing to launch a pawn storm with g4 to challenge black on the kingside and fight for space. 6. nc6, a solid developing move by Balbacan, though less common than the main lines. It prepares to challenge white's center directly but can be slightly passive. 7. g4, Fischer wastes no time, immediately launching his kingside pawn storm. This is a direct declaration of aggressive intent, aiming to cramp black's position from the outset. 7. nxd4, an early exchange in the center. Balbacan decides to relieve some of the central tension, but this brings Fischer's queen to an active square. 8. qxd4, the recapture brings the white queen to a powerful central post. From d4, it eyes the entire board and prepares to support the kingside attack. 8. e5, a crucial pawn break from Balbacan. He challenges the white queen and stakes his claim on the center, a necessary step to fight for equality. 9. qd3, the queen sidesteps the pawn, retreating to a flexible square from where it continues to support white's plans and control key central squares. 9. b7, a solid developing move. Balbacan prepares to castle his king to safety and completes the development of his kingside pieces. 10. g5, Fischer continues his aggressive kingside expansion relentlessly. This pawn push kicks the black knight from its best square and seizes even more space. 10. nd7, the knight is forced into a retreat, but it repositions to a square from where it can be rerouted to a more active post, typically c5. 11. b3, Fischer develops his bishop, preparing to castle queenside and connecting his rooks. Every move is part of a coordinated and powerful attacking plan. 11. nc5, the knight finds its new home on c5. From here, it puts pressure on white's center and helps to control key squares on the queenside. 12. qd2, the queen retreats to a safer and more effective square, from where it supports the kingside attack and prepares for opposite side castling. 12. b6, a logical developing move. Balbacan brings his last minor piece into the game and prepares to contest the open files in the center. 13. the gauntlet is thrown. Fischer castles on the queenside, creating a thrilling, unbalanced position. The game is now a brutal, no-holds-barred race to checkmate the enemy king. 13. Balbacan castles into the line of fire, a courageous but necessary decision. His king is now a direct target for white's impending pawn storm. 14. f3, a solid and multi-purpose pawn move. Fischer reinforces his center, prepares to open the f-file for his rooks, and further restricts black's pieces. 14. rc8, Balbakan brings his rook to the classic attacking post on the c-file. This is the main artery for black's counterattack against the white king. 15. kb1, a crucial prophylactic move of the highest class. Fischer moves his king to the safer b1 square, a standard precaution before launching the final, decisive attack. 15. d7, the black knight begins a new maneuver, a slightly slow plan in a position that demands urgent action. This gives Fischer valuable time to build his attack. 16. h4, the attack continues. Fischer pushes his h-pawn, preparing to rip open another file and create a second wave of threats against the exposed black king. 16. b5, the counterattack begins. Balbakan launches his queenside pawn storm, the correct and necessary plan to create threats against the white king before Fischer's own attack breaks through. 17. bh3, a powerful developing move. Fischer places his bishop on its most aggressive square, eyeing the weak points in black's kingside and preparing to join the assault. 17. bxh3, a questionable strategic decision by Balbakan. He trades his important light-squared bishop, a key defender, for a knight, which activates white's rook. 18. rxh3, the white rook now becomes a powerful attacking piece on the newly opened h-file. This is a clear strategic victory for Fischer, whose attack is gaining momentum. 18. nb6, the black knight arrives on b6, putting pressure on the queenside, but this plan seems too slow compared to the immediate dangers on the kingside. 19. bxb6, Fischer willingly trades his powerful bishop, but only to remove a key defender of the queenside and bring his queen to an even more dangerous square. 19. qxb6, the recapture. The position has been simplified slightly, but Fischer's strategic advantages, the kingside attack and space, remain decisive. 20. nd5, the knight lands on a monster outpost. From d5, it paralyzes black's position, attacks weak points, dominates the entire board, and is a nightmare to deal with. 20. qd8, the black queen is forced into a passive defensive role, tied down to the protection of weak squares. It is a sad sight for black's most powerful piece. 21. f4, the attack intensifies. Fischer opens another front, blasting open the f-file for his rooks and queen. The pressure on the black king is becoming unbearable. 21. x4, Balbakan is forced to capture, but this only serves to open more lines for white's perfectly poised attacking pieces. The black king's fortress is crumbling. 22. qxf4, the f-file is now open, and Fischer's queen, rooks, and dominant knight are perfectly coordinated to deliver the finishing blow against the exposed black king. 22. qd7, a desperate attempt to reorganize the defense and create some counter-threats, but it is a futile gesture against the full might of Fischer's attacking army. 23. qf5, a powerful queen maneuver. Fischer offers a queen trade on his own terms, knowing the resulting endgame is completely winning due to his dominant knight and continuing attack. 23. rcd8, Balbakan declines the trade and centralizes his rook, but his position is strategically hopeless. He is being squeezed from all sides. 24. ra3, a brilliant and unexpected rook swing. Fischer switches the point of attack with incredible creativity, creating new problems on the queenside and stretching black's defenses to the breaking point. 24. qa7, the black queen is forced into a passive defensive posture, desperately trying to hold the crumbling queenside together against the new threat. 25. rc3, the rook continues its journey, landing on c3 where it controls key files, puts pressure on the c-file, and prepares to invade the 7th rank. 25. g6, a forced and ugly pawn move. Balbakan is forced to weaken his kingside pawn structure, a desperate attempt to create space for his king, but it only creates new, fatal targets. 26. qg4, the queen repositions to a more aggressive square, from where it eyes the newly created weaknesses on the kingside and prepares for the final assault. 26. qd7, Balbakan offers the queen trade again, a sign of complete desperation, but Fischer has no intention of simplifying now that the black king is fatally exposed. 27. qf3, Fischer avoids the trade, correctly judging that keeping the queens on the board maximizes his attacking potential against the weakened and vulnerable black king. 27, qe6, the black queen finds a more active square, but it is a lowly warrior fighting a lost battle against a perfectly coordinated white army. 28, rc7, the rook invades the 7th rank with decisive effect. This piece is now a monster, creating unstoppable threats and completely paralyzing black's position. 28, right 8, the black rook is forced into a pitifully passive role, tied down to the defense of the back rank. The black pieces are completely uncoordinated. 29, nf4, the knight repositions, creating new and deadly threats against the black queen. The coordination of Fischer's pieces is a symphony of destruction. 29, qe5, the black queen is forced to move, but it has no safe squares. It is being hunted across the board by white's powerful and relentless pieces. 30, rd5, a powerful rook move that traps the black queen in the center of the board. The game is now effectively over, and the rest is a simple execution. 30, qh8, the queen finds a temporary hiding spot, but it is completely out of the game, a helpless spectator to the destruction of its own kingdom. 31, a3, a calm, cool, and deadly move. With black's queen trapped and useless, Fischer takes the time to prevent any backrank counterplay before delivering the final, crushing blow. 31, h6, a desperate attempt to create some breathing room, but it only serves to create new weaknesses that will be ruthlessly exploited. 32, gxh6, the capture opens the h-file, creating another highway for the white rooks to join the attack. The black king's position is collapsing completely. 32, qxh6, the black queen re-enters the game, but it is far too late. The damage is already done, and the white attack is unstoppable. 33, h5, the attack continues relentlessly. Fischer's h-pawn becomes a battering ram, ready to smash through the last remnants of black's kingside defense. 33, bg5, a last-ditch defensive attempt, but this only serves to create a target for white's pieces and opens up new lines of attack. 34, hxg6, the position explodes into a tactical melee, but all the lines and calculations favor white. The black king is completely naked and defenseless. 34, efxg6, the recapture opens the f-file, but it is the white pieces, not the black ones, that are poised to exploit this newly opened avenue of attack. 35, qb3, a stunning and brilliant queen sacrifice deflection. The queen moves to b3, ignoring the hanging rook on d5 and setting up a beautiful and decisive final combination. 35, rxf4, Albakan has no choice but to accept the bait, but he is walking directly into a forced and brutal checkmating sequence. 36, re5 plus, the brilliant point. A devastating discovered check combined with a rook sacrifice. This is a classic Fischer combination, a display of brutal and efficient tactical genius. 36, kf8, the only legal move, but the king is now drawn into a deadly mating net from which there is absolutely no escape. 37, rex8 plus, the elegant and crushing final move. After the king recaptures with c8, the rook on c7 will deliver a check on e7, winning the queen or forcing mate. Seeing this, Albakan resigns.